So my first question would be, Berserk is such an iconic franchise, such great, and you have touched on many great franchises outside of your own recently. What is it about Berserk that made you want to create a Warriors game based on this franchise, and how did it come to happen?
So in Japan, the new anime series of Berserk has started, and actually when it was being developed, the animation production committee actually approached us to see if we can work together, create a game to be able to really promote and have fun with the Berserk IP. And this is a license that IP that has existed from many years back. So it's something that we're familiar with and something that we definitely had wanted to do. So this was the perfect opportunity to do so.
It feels like Berserk is also such a great influence on a lot of video games, so it sort of comes full circle. Would you agree?
So Berserk itself it started from 27 years ago, and so as a dark fantasy comic, it's definitely been sort of the key pillar of all other dark fantasy comics. So from that, it has we do feel that it has probably influenced other animes, other mangas, comics as well. And so for us, be able to really put it into moving format as a game, it's something that we definitely have looked forward to doing, and as well we're able to draw from our other experiences to really be able to make a great representation of the game.
Speaking of those experiences, what kind of elements of previous games do you feel was a good fit with Berserk, and what things did you feel you had to do differently and perhaps add to the popular Warriors formula?
So probably in terms of the violence aspect, with our past titles, Ken's Rage, Fist of the North Star, Ken's Rage, and as well as most recently Attack on Titan, AO2 Wings of Freedom, we've been able to use that as a reference. What we call elemental or sort of magic elements that are in this game, previous Gust titles we've been able to use as a reference, and as well as Hyrule Warriors had that magic element that we can refer to or have that reference or have that experience used in this. And as well for boss battles, games such as Tokiden, and as well as Hyrule Warriors again, and One Piece Pirate Warriors 3. That experience I think we've been able to take into this game as well. So we've been able to pick up a lot of good points from other titles and been able to really use those and mix and match them to fit this game.
Obviously, the characters and the world is very established. What can you say of that? Who are you playing as, and what differences are there in terms of the gameplay between the characters, etc.?
So, as per the source material, the story follows Guts as the main character. So, also the game itself also focuses on Guts and his story. So, you do mainly play as Guts within the story, but we do have other characters. With the previous question, we mentioned about magical elements. So, there's a character named Sirke who focuses on magic. So, we do have a lot of actions for the different characters that do match their settings within the original source story. So what you think that what kind of actions that they'll do, pretty much those are, we've been able to put those into the game as well.
In the demo here at TGS, it was a very famous section with the trolls, etc. What can you tell us of the sort of picking the highlights, picking the stuff that you want to have in the game, out of the many memorable things that happened in Berserk?
So the game itself, with the original manga series, it actually covers from Volume 1 to the first part of Volume 32. So we've got a large story that we are covering. So within the game, we are using there was a three-part anime movies that were released, and we've used scenes from the movie in order to help explain the story, where it might take a long time if we were to sort of put that into game format. So and by doing that, it's not. We're aiming that for people that are completely new to Berserk, who aren't familiar with it, will be able to follow the story as well by having this mix of these anime cutscenes put in with the actual gameplay, so people can follow and also enjoy playing it. And in terms of what kind of areas we also picked up for battles, definitely from the fans, the scenes that they think are most memorable, we pretty much have an idea of what they'll probably expect. So we've also taken an approach to make sure that we put those into the game as well.
You previously mentioned boss battles. Is there anything you can talk about, or what sort of inspirations have you taken from that, and how will they play out?
In terms of the boss battles, a lot of them will largely follow the against the apostles in the original in the original source material. So, for example, there is Zod, who you will fight against, and he's an extremely strong character. So you'll be able to feel the force of his strength in these boss battles. Within the TGS demo, we've got the ogres or the trolls that you mentioned, and they'll throw their weapons at you. So we basically follow the type of attacks that they would perform within the comic or the animes, and we've basically used those, represented those within the game as well. So definitely compared to other Musou games that have boss battles, you'll be able to really feel the difficulty level and the challenges of battling these bosses in this game.
Another key thing about Berserk is of course the Dragon Slayer, and making sure that it feels like the epic weapon it is. And that you feel the weight of it. How are you gone about doing that while still maintaining the Musou style of smashing through a lot of enemies?
So definitely from the original from the manga creator, they really want to make sure that the motions or the movement of guts is real, and it relatively stays true to the actual manga itself. So definitely, we want to make sure that we put the weight into it, but at the same time, we want to also add some additional action. So because it is a game, you want a little bit of not exactly exaggerated, but you want a little bit of sort of that overaction in it as well. So I think within the TGS demo, we've made guts so that you can really feel the weight of the sword. His actions are a little bit slower. His movement is also a little bit slower. But as you progress through the game, as Guts himself becomes stronger, then his movement also becomes a little bit faster. He can wield the sword a little bit more easier. So you're able to see that progression within the game as well. And also when he changes into without giving away too many spoilers about the game, when he sort of changes into advances in his modes, you'll be also able to see how a big change in how it's a lot more faster his actions can be, and how more powerful that kind of stays a little bit more sort of to traditional action games.
One final question: with all these different franchises that are given the Musou treatment, where do you see Dynasty Warriors in the future, and how do you see it?
So even though I myself am not directly involved in Dynasty Warriors series, it's actually we'll leave it up to the Dynasty Warriors producer to actually answer this question. But it definitely, the series itself will evolve, and definitely with the announcement of the new PS4 platform, the PS4 Pro, we think that it will probably have elements to the game that will match it, probably. But so right now we can't really say what it's going to be like, but we can definitely I think fans can probably look forward to more information on the game and probably an evolution in the series.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.